Week after Chunin exams. Naruto was sat in his home eating some breakfast as he heard someone knock on the door. He groaned as he stood up and walked to the door and opened it. "Hello," he said as he looked out. "Oh hey Granny," Naruto said with a smile, seeing Tsunade stood there, but then he noticed something. "So Hiruzen made you Hokage after retiring?" Naruto asked, seeing the fire shadow hat on Tsunade's head. "Yes, I did. I also hoped you would be there when Hiruzen gave me the hat in his office. We are having my inauguration later today. I hope to see you there," Tsunade said as Naruto nodded and smiled. "So Granny, want some breakfast?" Naruto asked as Tsunade shook her head. Naruto smirked a little and held up a note. "Alright. Dad wanted me to give you this if you ever became Hokage," Naruto said before putting it in his pocket. "Of course I've read it. I'm just curious who was promoted before giving it to you," Naruto said with a smirk. Tsunade sighed as she rubbed her temples. "You're worse than your mother with trying to get deals." Tsunade then groaned as Naruto stood aside as Tsunade came in as Naruto shut the door. "You might be getting a promotion, along with Shikamaru and Shino," Tsunade said as Naruto smiled a little and handed Tsunade the note. "Enjoy the secret to paperwork," Naruto said as he continued to eat his cereal. As Tsunade's eyes widened, she looked at the note and her eyes widened before she laughed. "Suck it, Hiruzen-sensei," Tsunade shouted as Naruto choked on his cereal, trying to hold his laugh. When he stopped choking, he looked at her with a smirk. "So, like the note Dad left?" Naruto asked as Tsunade nodded with an evil smirk. "Enjoy defeating paperwork," Naruto said as he finished eating his food. As soon as Naruto stood up to do his dishes, his ear twitched a little. "When did Jiraiya get back?" Naruto asked as Tsunade looked confused until she heard someone laughing from the corner. "Of course you hear me getting back," Jiraiya said as Naruto smirked. "Yeah, I get boosted senses from the Kyuubi after me and him merged our chakra pools together," Naruto said as he stretched and yawned on the downside. "I gain his laziness," Naruto said, earning 2 laughs from the last of the loyal Sunin. "So, Tsunade, congratulations on becoming Godame," Jiraiya said as he then turned to Naruto and then Tsunade. "But I also believe it's time I took him on a trip," Jiraiya said, confusing Naruto and worrying Tsunade. "A trip? But I was just about to tell Naruto about his job with the Daimyo," Tsunade said, making Naruto's eyes widen. "I was made one of the 12 guardians?" Naruto asked in shock as Tsunade nodded slightly. "The Daimyo wishes to have you in the 12 guardians for 1 year and 3 months, Tsunade said, handing Naruto the letter from the Daimyo. "Huh? There's another one," Naruto muttered as he looked at the other one and his eyes widened. "You weren't going to tell anyone about this one?" Naruto asked quietly as Tsunade raised an eyebrow. "What one?" Tsunade asked as Naruto read the scroll. "May Terumi requesting assistance with the Kiri rebellion," Naruto said, surprising Tsunade. "You mean you never saw it?" Naruto asked as Tsunade nodded. "If I remember Terumi's bingo book entry, she has 2 Kekii Genkai. Yatun and Futun," Naruto said as he rubbed his chin. "I'm sure a couple of Umbu squads could assist with it," Naruto mumbled, handing it to Tsunade as she nodded. Naruto then looked to Jiraiya, who looked in thought before he sighed. "I guess we could shorten our trip to 1 year and 9 months, but I wish for you to be above cage level by the time we return," Jiraiya said seriously as Naruto smiled and nodded. "Yeah, sure, and I want you to try and hook up with Tsunade before I leave for the 12 guardians," Naruto said before ducking a glass and catching it and looked to see a blushing Tsunade. "Good luck," Naruto said with a smile as his grandmother and godfather left his house. Once they left, he sighed as he went to the table after grabbing a piece of paper and sat down. He looked at the paper before nodding and starting to write a letter to Damari. He spent an hour writing the letter before he summoned Gamekaki and smiled at the toad. "Hey Kichi," Naruto said as Gamekaki looked to him and said. "Hey bro," Kichi said and saw the letter. "Another letter to Damari?" Kichi asked Naruto, who blushed and nodded a little. "Yeah, sorry for summoning you so much to be a messenger," Naruto said apologetically as Kichi scoffed. "Doesn't matter, As long as I can get some candy from you then we're all good, Kichi said as Naruto laughed and handed Kichi 2 boxes of Pocky Y2. Kichi asked as Naruto looked confused. Tamari said in her letter she forget to get you some when you were delivering her last letter, Naruto said as Kichi seemed to think before nodding with a smile. I'm glad you remembered bro, Kichi said before grabbing the letter and smiling, I'll get Tamari's reply before I leave back home. Kichi said as Naruto nodded watching the toad disappear in a puff of smoke. Naruto smiled at the table before looking to the side and sighing. I owe Bunta some sake, Naruto mumbled to himself remembering how he needed to give Bunta some sake after their last training session. Naruto stood up and walked to his room to get changed. Once he changed he walked out wearing his civilian attire with his 3 clan symbols. The Uchiha and Senja one's smaller than the Namikaze one. As he walked out, he tied his head back to his bicep on his right arm and walked aimlessly before walking past the Nara compound. Once reaching the gates he was waved in by the guards as they knew he was Shikamaru's friend. Once he got in he walked to the clan head's house knowing Shikamaru had the day off. Once he reached the house he rang the doorbell and waited for a small while before Shikamaru's mom, Yoshino, answered the door. Oh Naruto, Shikamaru is just in his room, probably asleep, Yoshino mumbled the last part but Naruto heard and laughed slightly. Thanks Yoshino, I'll go get him, Naruto said as he walked up and took his sandals off before walking up the stairs. Once he reached Shikamaru's room he knocked and when he got no reply he walked in and pulled off Shikamaru's blanket lazy. I finished the seal you asked for, Naruto said as Shikamaru then instantly shot up. Wait, already? Shikamaru asked as Naruto scoffed and nodded handing him it. Yeah, simple barrier sealing, it stops all noise coming in and out as well as casts a genjutsu that not even the Sharingan can see or even the Inuzukas can smell through. It places the genjutsu over you and stops people knowing you're there. Only downside is, Byakugans can see through and seal masters, such as myself and Jiraiya will be able to detect the barrier. Oh and sensory ninjas will detect the genjutsu, Naruto said surprising Shikamaru. I even made Shikaka one, Naruto said as he turned around. Shikamaru looked at Naruto before sighing. Troublesome blonde, Shikamaru muttered and Naruto smirked. But this troublesome blonde also happens to be your best friend and someone as smart as if not smarter than the Nara prodigy, Naruto said his smirk growing seeing Shikamaru get a tick mark. I wonder if the Nara prodigy would like a shogi game to see which of us are better strategically, Naruto said walking out with a grumbling Shikamaru behind him. Once they reached downstairs Yoshino looked at the two in surprise. I thought you would be up there waking him longer, Naruto, Yoshino said as Naruto smirked. Oh no, I had a small project that Shikamaru offered me and then Shikaka who overheard decided to ask for one as well and would pay me for them, Naruto said as he chuckled. Plus I challenged Shikamaru to another game of shogi, Naruto said as Yoshino sighed. What is your scores now? A tiebreaker at what? Yoshino asked as Shikamaru replied seriously. Tiebreaker at 250 matches to both of us, he said as Naruto nodded and they both sat down to have their matches of shogi. The matches took up for the most part 5 hours of the day. As Naruto looked out and saw it was near 4 p.m, he chuckled and stood up. Well, those were a nice few games, Shika, Naruto said as he stretched. Where you going? Shikamaru asked as Naruto looked to him. Oh right. Tsunade is being put in office as Hokage and she wants me to be there, Naruto said with a shrug, something about having her amazing grandson by her side as she becomes the first female Hokage. Naruto said with sarcasm leaking from his voice as Shikamaru sighed. Troublesome, Shikamaru mumbled as Naruto nodded. Yeah, most troublesome events to happen, but hey. I have a fourth family member who has been Hokage, Naruto said as he stretched again popping some joints. And knowing my bad luck with these councils I'll be marrying Tamari even though we just started dating, Naruto said as he started to walk towards the front door with Shikamaru beside him. You and Tamari huh? Shikamaru asked as Naruto just raised an eyebrow. I thought you knew, Naruto said as Shikamaru shook his head and Naruto shrugged. Yeah, me and Temari started dating during the Chunin exams. I'm guessing one of the two reasons she quit the finals, Naruto said as Shikamaru chuckled. The second being? Shikamaru asked with mirth in his tone. I don't know. The fact I beat her younger brother who holds one of the 9 Baijiryu, even if they don't have the best relationship, Naruto said as Shikamaru's eyes narrowed. One of the 9? Shikamaru asked as Naruto's eyes widened a little. Crap, wasn't supposed to say that yet, Naruto muttered, knowing how he told Koji, Kiba, and Shikamaru of him holding the Kyuubi. Welp, cat's out the bag. Yeah, there are 9 people who contain Baijiryu. Me and Gaara are one of the 9, I met another on a mission to Taki, other than that I only know rumors such as the Raikage's brother being one. Tune in from IWA who have Sunin rights being them and the Mizukage, Naruto said as he groaned. This Baijiryu crap sounds troublesome, Shikamaru said as Naruto laughed and nodded. Agreed, especially being a Jinchuriki, Naruto said before he looked over his shoulder and smiled. Make sure to give your dad his seal, Naruto said before vanishing in a shunshin as Shikamaru nodded. Troublesome, Shikamaru said before going into the house. With Naruto. Naruto was slowly making his way towards the Hokage Tower and not really looking at his surroundings, more like he was running on autopilot as he continued walking. He was using his sensory ability to feel out objects and people, and he moved around them as if he was paying attention. Upon reaching the Hokage Tower, he walked straight in and saw his big sister figure at the secretary desk. Hey Shizune, Naruto said as Shizune smiled at him. Hey Naruto, Tsunade should be in her office, Shizune said as Naruto smiled. Thanks, Naruto said as he walked towards the cage office and knocked. Without waiting for a reply, he opened the door and smirked at Tsunade getting in her serious mode. It's just me, Granny, Naruto said as Tsunade sighed and hunched over. Naruto chuckled when he saw Tsunade made clones again and turned to see Hiruzen shaking his head. Hiruzen said as Naruto looked to him, you told Tsunade before she was Hokage? Hiruzen asked as Naruto shook his head. Technically Dad told her, Naruto said with a chuckle as Hiruzen shook his head as Naruto smiled a little. So Minato left his mother a note of the secret, Hiruzen said as Naruto nodded his head, and he didn't tell me? Hiruzen asked as Naruto shrugged. He was always a mama's boy, Tsunade said as Naruto nodded. According to his notes he always loved being around Tsunade, Naruto said as Tsunade looked shocked. He wrote about me? Tsunade asked as Naruto nodded his head. Yeah, quite a bit. This was after I found out he was my dad that I read his notes and diaries, Naruto said as Tsunade smiled, as did Hiruzen. Naruto looked around the office before smirking. Damn, I'm surprised you haven't Tsunade up the place yet, Naruto said with a smirk. What do you mean, Naruto? Tsunade asked as Naruto looked to her. Oh, you know, added in some boards and books on medical stuff, Naruto said with a shrug as Tsunade groaned. I can't until Sensei has officially given me position as Hokage, Tsunade said as Naruto nodded, and it should happen in a few hours actually, Tsunade said as Hiruzen shook his head. Actually it happens in half an hour, Hiruzen said looking at the clock, as did Tsunade whose eyes widened. Oh shit, Tsunade said as Naruto laughed. As Naruto was laughing, Gamekaki appeared. Yo bro, Kichi said as Naruto wiped his eye and looked to Kichi. Got your reply, Kichi said handing Naruto the letter as Naruto smiled and nodded to Kichi, handing him another box of Pocky. For express delivery, also tell Bunta I'll have some of Kumo's finest ready from my mom's house, Naruto said as Kichi nodded and vanished. Kumo's finest what, Naruto? Tsunade asked with a large tick. Oh? Kumo's finest sake, Bunta loves it and I owe him a barrel from when I went to MT Miyaboku for training with him in different toad and combination jutsus, Naruto said as he smirked. I also have a couple bottles of it. Naruto said as Tsunade's eyes widened. I read from Dad's notes it helps with the headache after the clones finish paperwork, Naruto said with a shrug. Hiruzen chuckled softly, knowing of Minato's habit to have a single saucer before putting the bottle down. Minato was quite the lightweight compared to his mother when it comes to sake. He only had one saucer and would put the bottle down after, Hiruzen said with a laugh as Naruto gasped. Over the next 30 minutes they talked about random topics until Hiruzen stood up with Tsunade following and Naruto by her side. As they left the office, Shizune joined them and they made it to the roof of the Hokage building. When they got there, the whole clearing in front of the building was filled with shinobi and civilians alike as Naruto stood next to Shizune a little further back with Tsunade a little ways in front of them. Citizens of Konoha, it is with great honor and pride that I have you all here today, as today is my final day as a shinobi and as a Kage, I am officially retiring. I already have my replacement decided and they have been training and even doing some paperwork for us recently. It's with great honor that I now address you as Hiruzen Sarutobi. Elder of the Sarutobi clan, Hiruzen said as mutterings broke out and then stopped when Hiruzen shouted, "Silence." As for my replacement as clan head of the Sarutobis, he has proven that he is already worthy during my second tenure as Hokage and he was temporary clan head. Yes, I mean my son Asuma Sarutobi will be clan head of the Sarutobi clan, Hiruzen said as his eyes caught the shocked look of his son in the crowd. As for my replacement as Hokage, I believe they were the only ones within the village qualified enough to lead it. If they aren't able to, then they have me and the other elders to assist them. The now Godame Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato is my very own student Tsunade Senju, current clan head of the Senjus. Hiruzen finished as cheers and applause was heard throughout the crowd as Hiruzen handed his Hokage hat to Tsunade, who took it and put it on as she looked to the crowd. As my first order of business, I would like all of the rookie teams and team guy in my office. This will be your promotion announcements, Tsunade said as they heard a hi. And my second order of business if the combination of the Namikaze and Senju clan. Tsunade said, surprising the crowd as she finished. I can legally do this as I was planning to marry the father of my child. Before he died, Tsunade said before finishing her speech as she bowed and walked away with a stunned Naruto and a Shizune who acted like it was normal. "Oi granny," Naruto said catching up to her. "Why dash he stopped himself? You plan to make me a clan head?" "Why, I'm only 13 years old," Naruto said seriously as Tsunade smirked. 13, yet you're more mature than most veteran shinobi and you have a thought process of sensei. Tsunade said seriously as Naruto pouted. That's not the point, I mean. I don't wanna have to deal with the advisory civilian council and the meetings all the time, Naruto groaned as he sighed. At least coulda waited till I got back. Naruto said but stopped when he heard the door open. Get back from where, Naruto? Came the question of Niji Hyuga, who had calmed down on the whole fate thing since the exams. Naruto said before looking to Tsunade for help, who shrugged. Damn it granny, Naruto sighed, the daimyo has sent a request for me to be a member of the 12 Guardians for 1 year and 3 months. Naruto said as he looked away from everyone waiting for their response. What he wasn't expecting was for himself to get a pat on the back. When he looked at them he smiled, seeing the new Sarutobi head smiling at him. Seems like I wasn't the only one your age, huh? Asuma said as Naruto chuckled. Yeah, Naruto said before he hears Tsunade clearing her throat. As she cleared her throat, the rest of the teams got into the office. So straight to business, Tsunade said as she had a lot of files in front of her. To all of you who competed in the Chunin exams, I'd like to congratulate you all. The competition was extremely fierce, Tsunade said, getting nods from the Konoha 12. Now on to promotions, Tsunade said as she looked at the notes of the teams in order. Team Guy. Step forward, Tsunade said as the eldest of the rookies stepped forward. Out of all of you, Niji was the only one to get a promotion request, but after looking at his file I've decided to hold off until he goes through the Chunin exams again next year. I have recommendations from older shinobi for you all, such as for Tenten, use a couple jutsus, maybe learn a little elemental control and channel it through your weapons to make them more fierce. For Lee, I know of his medical condition where he can't use chakra other than to do the surface walking. Your recommendation said to learn a couple more taijutsu styles and mix them in with your own, and finally Niji, I believe you are Jonin level in skill, just your attitude was holding you back. But after your match with Naruto it's apparently changed according to both Hayashi and members of the Hyuga clan, Tsunade said, getting a nod from Team 9. I have told Guy about the recommendations and also asked that he get other members of our forces to assist in training you all. Learn new skills, as I hope to see this team at another Chunin exams, Tsunade said with a smirk. Hi Hokage, Team 9 said in unison and stepped back. Tsunade looked over the other files before picking up another team's. Team 8 stepped forward, as she ordered that they all stepped forwards. I have one promotion for Team 8, she said as she picked up a scroll containing a Chunin vest Shino Abarame. The judges believe you deserve the rank of Chunin for your display of your clan's techniques within the finals and being able to use your hives to your advantage. Sunsada said, holding the vest to Shino as he bowed and took it. Now as for Hinata, the judges said you have heavy confidence issues, whether it's from your clan or others we don't know. As for your gentle fist style, Tsunade said and cleared her throat, I believe it doesn't suit you. Your body seems like it purposely tries to put you in flexible positions and you are forcing yourself into stances. This is also comments from a Sherry non-user who has faced a Hyuga and compared your stances. Maybe make a more flowing style of gentle fist and then master that, Tsunade said as Hinata nodded with wide eyes. As for Kiba and Yazuka, Tsunade said and looked over the notes. Your jutsus with Akamaru are strong and really unpredictable. You would have been recommended for promotion if you had a better control of your attitude, such as your brash and cocky attitude, Tsunade said as Kiba nodded slightly. Apart from that, all of the comments are good, Tsunade said, surprising the other rookies besides Naruto. Says you did your best in all aspects of the Chunin exams and according to Tsum you have gotten less cocky since your loss to Naruto, Tsunade said as Kiba nodded with a grin. That's all notes we have for Team 8. I hope to see some of you in the upcoming Chunin exams, Tsunade said. Hi Hokage, Team 8 said and backed away. Team 10, Tsunade said as she picked up the file and heard Naruto groan a little. She looked to Team 10 who stepped forward and smiled softly. This generation's Inoshikacho formation. Like your father's, Tsunade said as Shikamaru nodded. As for your team, Shikamaru was recommended for promotion to Chunin. The judges said he should be promoted for his strategic mind. Use of the shadow possession jutsu and knowing his limits, Tsunade said as Shikamaru groaned and took his vest. As for Koji and Ino, the judges believe Koji's knowledge of his clan's techniques are amazing. If he were to learn them more and master them he could be better than Choza, Tsunade said with a nod and then turned to Ino. The judges said you're a fangirl. Or used to be, as recently according to Inoichi and Asuma you've been taking training seriously, Tsunade said as Ino nodded. And the hospital has some frightening reports about heavy dieting and not eating, Tsunade said, getting a flinch from the younger blonde woman. I'm going to tell you the same I told a girl who was on my genin team, Tsunade said as she continued, a ninja no matter what always needs to eat. They use more calories than a civilian, especially during training. I also asked if she believed I got a figure like this, Tsunade said, pointing to herself and finishing, by doing what you call a diet. Tsunade asked as Ino shook her head, exactly not. In fact my father and I would always have an eating competition whenever my mother was out checking on the village, Tsunade said, surprising the genin and newly turned Chunin. Now know this much. Eating is very crucial for any human, but it's more important for a ninja as you use up the calories a lot faster, Tsunade finished and smiled. Now I hope to see you too when you have completely increased, and I will see which Chunin exams are closest to then. I hope to see you too in them, Tsunade finished as they nodded. Hi Hokage, Team 10 finished as they backed up. Tsunade picked up the last file and sighed. Team 7, she said, and Team 7 all stepped forward. Naruto with excitement in his eyes, Sakura with a nervous smile, and Sasuke looked as cocky as ever. Sasuke, lose the smirk and the cocky look, Tsunade said seriously, and he instantly dropped it as Tsunade cleared her throat. Right, Team 7. You have a single promotion but not to Chunin, Tsunade said, surprising the genin and jonin in the room. This person is being promoted to Jonin, which is surprising as he is officially the fastest to gain Jonin in the history of Konoha, Tsunade said before looking at them. I would like to welcome Naruto to our Jonin ranks, Tsunade said, and Naruto's eyes widened. The judges were especially impressed by your proficiency in using the Sharingan. Then there is your ability with Fuinjutsu and even learning the Nidame's techniques which your father further developed, Tsunade finished as Naruto smiled and took the vest. As for your teammates, Sakura, I will give you the same advice as Ino. Lose the fangirl act and start eating. And Sasuke, Tsunade said as she looked to the Genin Uchiha, I have looked at all your files and they claim you had no problems. But if the Chunin exams I saw is anything to go by, you do. As for using an assassination technique in a place where if you missed your target you endangered civilian life, to the fact that you almost used the curse mark had Gaara not knocked you out. Tsunade said as Sasuke growled. Tsunade thought, but for positive notes, you have been praised in knowing lightning jutsus and an A rank at that. Your mastery over Katon as well was praised, and your speed. They also seemed to realize that you had copied Lee's fighting style, the Goken, Tsunade finished. Apart from that, the reports say you were cocky and the only time you were quiet EAS when you were asleep after being knocked out, Tsunsdi said as Sasuke growled. Now I hope you lose the cockiness and hopefully you'll be able to take the Chunin exams and get promoted next time, Tsunade finished. Hi Hokage, Team 7 said. Sasuke said it reluctantly as Naruto smiled at Tsunade. Tsunade smirked. Oh, and Jonin Naruto, Tsunade said as Naruto froze and replied with a hi. I would like to congratulate you on becoming clan head of the Senju Namikaze clan. Tsunade said as Naruto groaned. Wait, Naruto was serious about being related to you? Sakura asked. In response she got deadpan looks from everyone as Naruto sighed and tapped his foot on the floor and a wooden chair grew up behind him. So I'm going to take a seat as we explain this. Naruto said as everyone stared at him shocked. Mokudan Kakashi muttered, surprising the genin. Yeah, it's something from the Namikaze clan. They had a very rare bloodline ability to merge elements to make a perfect remake of the Kekkei Genkai, Naruto said, and Tsunade sighed. Everyone dismissed apart from Naruto, Tsunade said, and they all nodded. As soon as Naruto and Tsunade were left alone in the office, Naruto looked to her. So Jonin? Naruto asked as Tsunade nodded at her grandson. I'm guessing I have more missions to do. Naruto asked as Tsunade again nodded. Yeah, your first mission is to take these to Suna, Tsunade said and handed Naruto a classified scroll. It's an S-ranked mission mainly for its severity and how it needs to be done sooner than later. Tsunade said as Naruto nodded and took the scroll. As soon as Naruto took it, he vanished from inside the office and appeared on a roof before starting to jump from roof to roof. -2 months later. Naruto reappeared inside of the Hokage office with his Jonin vest on. Hey Granny, Naruto said as Tsunade looked up. Last mission done. Now I can leave for the 12 Guardians, Naruto said as Tsunade sighed and shook her head. Emergency happened that is crucial to the village. Sasuke Uchiha has left to try and join Orochimaru Yor to support the current retrieval team, Tsunade said as Naruto looked at her before sighing. Dead or alive? Naruto asked simply as Tsunade bit her lip. Try for alive, if not bring him back dead and destroy his eyes, Tsunade said, getting a nod from Naruto, who vanished.